Hey friends, welcome back. My name's Dan Nelson. I am an artist, and one of the joys of my career, presently at least, is that I do a wide variety of styles, techniques, and mediums. As one of my followers pointed out a couple weeks ago, if you're giving counsel to a young, just getting started illustrator artist, you don't exactly tell them to work in a wide range of mediums. They need to establish themselves in a style. So I don't want to be confusing here. I work in all kinds of mediums. That's partly because I'm old. A lifetime of curiosity and continual learning, and the need to make a living no matter what the phone call, the potential client asked me to do. All those things have conspired to make me pretty good at a whole bunch of things. Now, the first thing some people will say is, "Oh, I'm jack of all trades, master of none." That would, this part doesn't matter. That would be offensive. But way beyond that, that would just be plain stupid. I'm a master. I hate to say it. Well, no, I don't hate to say it. We live in a culture that is saturated with mediocrity, satisfied with mediocrity, fomenting, aiding, and abetting mediocrity at every single level of human endeavor. Now, at the same time that that's going on, there have always been people who break the mold and become highly skilled at several media. So I'm one of those. But more than that, I invite you to be one of those too. It shouldn't be, I should not be a ridiculous exception to the rule. I should be unusual perhaps, but I should not be one in a million, which I am. I should be one in 100 or 1,000. I'm being, at the same time here, I'm being ridiculously arrogant and outrageously humble at the same time. Yeah, I am clearly one in a million, but I shouldn't be. My number one advice to young people is stop watching TV, so much TV anyway, and by all means, stop playing video games. To my young male artists who might be watching me, stop drawing superhero cartoons, and even more than that, stop drawing silly anime drawings. Whew. Now, anime is okay for junior high kids and high school kids. The first artist in Japan that developed and invented anime was a genius. The 5 million artists that have followed him are morons. I'm sorry, being a little bit blunt. Now, anime does have its place for learning at anime. It really does. That's okay. It's an okay way to learn human anatomy. But don't stick with the style of anime. Why? Because it's a style. Precisely because it is a style. That means it is going out of style any year now. At least any decade now. Okay, so back to maybe a little bit. I work in several different mediums. I'm not a jack of all trades, master of none. Don't make me get arrogant here. I'm a master of several. I don't know anybody on the planet that handles pen and ink better than me. I'm sure there are, but I don't know any. I'm about to show you a charcoal drawing that would put most charcoal drawers to complete tearful embarrassment. I have invented a watercolor technique that is unique to me. I've invented an oil painting technique that is unique. Anyway, and the point being, my real point being, everybody should be a lot more like me and a lot less like our broader culture. And the only prerequisite is be born with a reasonable modicum of skill and then work your buns off. Okay. Anyway, so one of the fun things about my career is that I work in a wide range of mediums and styles. And by the way, in galleries, in art galleries, I basically only market my oil paintings. Here and there a little bit my watercolors, but not much. And that is becoming even less and less so as the years go by. Anyway, but when it comes to making money and having fun and being a good artist, when it comes to that, I strongly believe you and every artist should continue learning for your entire life, and you should get better and better and better at all kinds of mediums. Hey, David. I know, boy, I'm just blistering today, aren't I? You know, the passion. What the passion that is really driving me, as I've said already, is the degree to which our broader culture is satisfied with, and not only satisfied with, but actually encourages young people to be mediocre. It's a misdirected, anyway. I should not be that unusual. Some of you are saying, well, you're not that unusual. You're not 1 in a million. Well, that's because you only see part of my skill. I don't want to sound even more arrogant. I'll put it this way. There are a lot of people on the planet, in the hundreds or thousands, who would say, I'm just as good at music as I am at art. Now, they're not quite correct, but they're close. Close enough that the statement is not ludicrous. I'm also a writer, athlete, philosopher, historian, scientist, theologian. Not that I have to take tests on any of those things. So my point being, come on, gang, come on, humanity. Let's all pull together. Let's go up, not down. Okay, so I'm doing a charcoal sketch drawing that is going to turn into a book cover. Here's the book cover that my client has approved of already. This is a rough sketch printed out on my printer with notes on it. And this is a photograph of my daughter that I'm obviously using as a model for this character. Here is basically the background, the woods. You can't see that very well, I know. Sorry about that. And the illustration for the book is going to be pen and ink. Some of you who follow me because of my painting may not realize that my one video that has really gone viral compared to all the others is a pen and ink video. So ironically, around the world, so to speak, I'm known best as a pen and ink artist. About 2.6 million views of my pen and ink video. This character's name in the book is Emma. The name of the book is Breaking Free with Broken Wings. She's carrying a walking staff here. She spent most of her childhood and young adult life crippled by a fall, and so on. That's all part of the story. Late in life, she's healed through surgery. And this is her emerging out of the dark woods. Okay, let me see how that looks right now. So this will be perhaps interesting for some of you. I'm going to show you my charcoal technique. This is, and it's not a charcoal sketch. Just the drawing is going to be a full-on charcoal drawing, but I'm using it as a sketch. I don't know if that makes sense to you. It's going to be a full-on drawing that is going to serve as a sketch for the pen and ink illustration. Okay, let me turn off these lights again, turn on my light table again. And that was a hard pencil, hard charcoal, now picking up a medium, just to start doing some of the basic drawing. Again, I have this much, I have a drawing done to this degree of detail here. And I need to increase that level of detail considerably before I go to the final illustration. Which will be in pen and ink. So I'm not going to keep you here watching me for very long. But before I let you go, let me show you how I'm going to start this drawing. After doing that, the next step here is this is my charcoal drawing kit, my large charcoal drawing kit. I also have a smaller one. I think that brush will do. I have here a jar of charcoal powder. Do not sneeze, anybody. This is a piece of the same kind of paper that I'm drawing on. So that would let me test. Okay, that'll work. I didn't need to dip my brush in nearly that far, but that'll get me started. So there you go. This is going to be a very soft and subtle charcoal drawing with some detail, but a lot of muted tones, gray tones, halftones in it. So I'm thinking the best way to accomplish that will be in charcoal. Some of you needed to see this because some of you have never done finished charcoal work. So you need to, this will be a good exposure for you. It's like, oh, so that's how they do that. That's the response I would like you to have. Oh, so that's how they do that. I'm going to use, before I'm finished here, I'm going to use every kind of charcoal there is. Charcoal pencils, charcoal sticks, various degrees of hardness, charcoal powder, and erasers, various kinds of erasers, and blenders. Let me get a blender out right now. Again, so well, here's one, a chamois. Did you know that a chamois is an excellent charcoal tool? See, so I want to create, and because this is drawn in hard charcoal, I can rub it to some degree without losing that imagery. So there's a chamois. There's a chamois. Here is blending stub, tortillon, it looks like. And then, of course, I'll be using quite a number of erasers. There's an eraser. There's an eraser. There's an eraser. And I'll show you two more. Here's electric eraser. And this is the one I will probably use the most, is eraser, an eraser pencil. So all kinds of erasers, all kinds of tools for taking charcoal off the paper, and all kinds of tools for putting charcoal on the paper. Cool, huh? So there's a quick introduction. There's a quick, watch out, Dan Nelson is in one of his arrogant moods introduction. I want other people to be good at stuff. Really, really, really good at stuff. I want to be better at everything myself as well. So I still intend to give everybody a run for their money. I'm going to hang up here in just a minute, but I'll finish a little bit here. I actually have gloves on both hands today. That's unusual. That's because this is charcoal. Enough said. Thank you, David. What type of paper? This is a single ply Canson Bristol board. Bristol board, it seems to me like kind of a catch-all term. It's a nice, it's heavy. I don't know if you can hear it. That's how thick it is. This is a plate. Let me grab the cover for you and show you. Here it is. Strathmore Bristol, hang on. Strathmore 500 series, which for Strathmore means, generally speaking, their highest level. They have 2, 3, 4, 500 level. 500 is their highest. So it's a Bristol vellum. Oh, 2-ply. It's not 1-ply, it's 2-ply. Bristol comes anywhere from 1, 2, 3, and I think even 4-ply, which is really heavy. I don't want this too heavy because I want to be able to see through it on my light table, right? Which you saw earlier. Okay, so I'm going to be drawing much of the afternoon here today. When I'm finished, I hope to have a frameable piece of artwork. Even though it's a rough sketch, I hope it to be beautiful. When I'm done with it, I'm going to make photocopies, or I'm going to print it on my printer on more transparent paper. And then I go to pen and ink. I'm really excited about this particular pen and ink job. It's a job I've wanted to do ever since my one video went very viral. That was called Pen and Ink Masters Edition. And again, forgive me for sounding arrogant, but it's the truth. The name of this video is going to be Pen and Ink State of the Art, because I am going to do things with pen and ink that, I'm sorry, literally I've never seen anybody else do, but a lot of people ought to be doing it. And that is colored ink, actually not ink at all, but liquid acrylic, colored ink on multiple layers of Mylar, and possibly with airbrush combined with the pen and ink. So it'll be a very sophisticated, I mean that in the sense of not simple, fairly advanced illustration technique and pen and ink. But before I do that, I want to have a lot of the details worked out, all the details worked out in this charcoal sketch. Like where do the leaves go? Where do the vines go? Where is it dark? Where is it light? Where is it midtone? Because I don't want to have to worry about any of that when it comes to pen and ink. All my planning will be done in this sketch. Okay, so I'll be back in a little while. Let you see how this is progressing. Once again, what I'm doing is not exactly rock and roll, not terribly entertaining, because it's just too slow. If I can finish this illustration today, I'll be pretty happy with myself, because this is not going to be a quick study or a quick job. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with my silly arrogance. Again, please hear my heart. I implore you, young people, do not settle for what most of your peers are going to settle for. Pursue excellence. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Hey gang, welcome back. So here's the progress that I've made so far on this illustration. Again, this is what I call a finished charcoal illustration. It's not finished yet, but what I mean, this is not a charcoal sketch. This is a charcoal drawing. And I have just given it its first layer, first application of workable fixative, in the course of which I discovered that I have run out of workable fixative, so I'm in a little bit of a pickle. Typically, I build up this kind of illustration. I build it up little by little, layer by layer. Now, the thing you have to watch out for when you do that is, at least theoretically, you can't make any, once you sprayed it, you can't erase the charcoal. Now, actually, you can cheat a little bit, but ideally, you don't want to cheat a little bit. So the challenge before you spray is you want to make sure that you have all your lights in place and that you're going to get darker than as the illustration proceeds. I'll try to remember before I start my next broadcast to get out some finished charcoal drawings that I've done in years past. You can find them on my website, dannelsonart.com. Go to illustrations, and underneath, inside the illustration page, you'll find an album of, I think it's called Charcoal and Graphite. So I put both charcoal and graphite together. See, that is remarkably unattractive, isn't it? And if you've never seen anybody do refined charcoal, you might not. I'm hoping this video will open your mind to, like, oh, so that's how you're supposed to do it. It's not really a matter of supposed to. It's a matter of oh, so that's how you can do it, right? This is how you can do it. You see, most of us growing up as kids, that's what we understood to be charcoal, right? And now I'm showing you quite a bit more refined technique than that. So I will be going through this process several times over and over and over, drawing for a while, a little bit more detail, again, working on the entire, just much like a painting, working on the entire canvas, on the entire drawing, lifting it all up little by little. Why can't you just keep drawing and drawing and drawing and getting darker and more detailed? Well, first of all, because of difficulty, if you don't spray this stuff, just the slightest little touch, and again, this is that is the downside of charcoal that may have kept perhaps many of you from ever experimenting with charcoal, is because you are so accustomed, you're aware of the downside. Man, just one touch, and it's a disaster. It's a mess. So perhaps that has kept you from experimenting with this wonderful medium. So the way I do it, and the way some charcoal artists do it, is we grow by using workable fixative. Now, I don't have any more workable fixative down in my collection of spraying products, but I do have some lacquer mat, it's called. It's sort of like workable fixative on steroids. It's like really strong, smells strong too, so awful smelling stuff. All these things, by the way, you spray outdoors. Oh my goodness, don't even think about spraying them indoors. I mean, I don't even think about spraying them on the back porch, so to speak. You know, don't even spray them in an enclosed. Even I was standing in the garage with the garage door open, and that was as close as I wanted to get to smelling this stuff. And I know they say maybe it's not toxic, and maybe it's not. But anyway, it smells bad. Anything that smells this bad, I don't trust. So I'm going to be building up, and again, I have a couple of illustrations that I'm going by. This is the illustration with all the stuff on top of it. Right here is the bear. So you can kind of see, I don't feel compelled to copy this exactly. It just has to be a good illustration. A little bit of vine charcoal here. Vine charcoal feels quite different. It's much softer than the charcoal stick and the charcoal pencils that I've been using. But of course, it's much harder than the charcoal powder, which I've also been using. And I'm at a point now where I really need to get myself a smaller brush. And for what it's worth, also, I try to resist the temptation to blow. Like right then I don't know. But, nah, it just creates a mess in your studio. Just air, that dust goes everywhere. So instead, I pick it up, take it over here to my wastebasket, and just give it a little tap. Good comment. Bobo Pop. Exactly. I agree. Don't copy exactly. 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 Don't copy exactly. Keep your eyes working. Copy, draw, and paint by eyeball, not by rules or rote. So even when I say I'm tracing, you have to put the word tracing in quotation marks. I'm not exactly tracing. I'm still interpreting everything as I go. So once again, I won't keep you here for a long time. Just want to let you come in and just, again, for some of you, perhaps you've never tried this wonderful medium. It really is a bag of tricks. I showed you a little while ago, what, 5 or 6 different kinds of eraser. And that didn't exhaust the list. And at least an equal number of ways to apply the charcoal to the paper. And combining all of that with spraying a workable fixative in between the various layers. So right at the moment I'm working on a little bit of the texture on this tree. Want there to be a nice, gnarly, mildly scary, threatening, you know what I mean? Storybook scary, not terrifying, but you know, good. You get the feeling that these woods are, even though in the story the woods are not a bad thing, but they represent the benighted soul of this young lady, if I may. And the story is of her, you could say, coming into enlightenment. Although I don't mean enlightenment exactly in a New Age way. Here's a tool I didn't show you earlier. This is an old-fashioned one. I have a modern one somewhere, but this is an old-fashioned charcoal holder, so you don't have to get your fingers quite so dirty holding that Vine charcoal. Cool, huh? All kinds of tricks, and they still sell. I imagine it's called a charcoal holder. And I do have some modern ones around here. That's sort of an antique one. I inherited it from a old master artist who passed away, and his widow had a sale of. I expect the same thing will happen to most of my tools someday. So as you might be able to discern already that I would guess that when I'm done, less than 5% of this drawing will literally be done with a charcoal pencil. Much more of it will be done with a blender like this, where you create a soft edge, soft line, and only final touches, final details will be executed. That looks kind of cool though. Can you see that? That tree right here, already beginning a kind of interesting texture. And then I can still come in here one more time, maybe after spraying, and in fact increase the depth of those shadows even more. Now please remember that this entire illustration is going to be redone in pen and ink, mostly with Rapidograph pens. Rapida what, you say? Okay, so Rapidograph pens. That's this kind of pen with a refillable reservoir. Most of it will be in colored ink, not a little bit of black, but mostly not black ink. Various colors, many different colors of ink. And possibly also a little bit of airbrush on top. You can also do watercolor, depending on what you do the ink on, what kind of paper you do it on. You could do watercolor, but I find that the airbrush is a friendlier combination with pen and ink, because the perfect smoothness of the airbrush doesn't interfere then with the texture of the pen and ink. So it allows the pen and ink texture to continue to shine through. Whereas when you use a watercolor, you get brush marks, you get edges in the watercolor itself, which then sometimes compete. So I'll let you watch me do just a little bit more, just so you get the idea. Again, so I used a pencil, now coming back another time with a blender. Just want this to be just fascinating, ancient old tree. I said the last week or sometime when I was talking about this job, like Mirkwood in The Hobbit, or like, is it Fang something in the Lord of the Rings? Yeah, like that, a little bit. Not fun storybook kind of stuff. And now, having done that, now when I erase now, I'm not going all the way back to bare paper, right? Because I'm going down to the last time I did a workable fixative. Got it? So it's not going, the erasing here is not going as bright as it would if I hadn't done one coat of workable fixative. Bobo Pop, are you talking about in charcoal? Oh, shadows. Yep. Right. You know, I mean, right now I'm drawing almost completely off the top of my head. I'm keenly aware that, of course, that the light is coming in from the left. So I'm just inventing this texture, if you will, just making it up, which is really fun. It's a different kind of way to draw. Okay, this, by the way, this is a cleanup brush. I'll rub it on my jeans and then use it to get rid of crumbs. Very important, very important. Before I let you go, let's take this area back here and push it one more time, darker, darker, darker. There are several areas of this illustration that when I'm done, they will be as black as black velvet. That is part of the fun of this wonderful medium, charcoal. And yes, if there isn't some part of the charcoal drawing that is just as black as velvet, then no, you haven't done a good charcoal drawing. Charcoal sketch, you know, can stand to have perhaps some lightness in it, but not a charcoal drawing. And as dark as this is right now, it's still not dark enough. It won't be till I at least give it one more coat of workable fixative and do one more layer of charcoal, that will be as black as black as black can be. Again, that's just part of the fun of charcoal. Let me add one more thing. So in a sense, everything I'm doing here is a rough sketch. It's just a sketch for the pen and ink, right? I don't really need to do this much work for the sake of but I need to do nearly this much work. And my thinking is, well, if I'm going to do almost this much work, then why not just take it a little bit further and end up with, in a sense, 2 complete illustrations for the price of 1. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to this illustration. I believe it's mine to do with whatever I want. I will put it in a mat and perhaps frame it. Maybe I'll give it as a gift to somebody, or give it as a gift to my daughter. By the way, the model for this girl is my daughter. I changed her face, but that's very much my daughter's body. So, you know, maybe when I'm dead and gone, the grandchildren, it gives me one more piece of art for me to keep speaking from the grave. I'm very concerned about speaking from the grave. I'm being silly. But at my age, you got to think about those things. You'll notice, by the way, I've got masking tape all around the edge of this paper. That is a favorite trick of mine. When this illustration is completely done, I will peel off the masking tape, and there will be a beautiful razor sharp edge all around the illustration, and it just gives it a really nice finished look. I think these are fireflies. Yeah, yeah, definitely being a bit morbid. Who being dead yet speaketh? That's a famous quote from somewhere. The Bible, probably. Anyway. If they're not fireflies, they're just interesting little specks of light. Maybe they're little fairies. I'm being silly now. Maybe they're, you know, little magic creatures. Good, thank you. Yeah, the asymmetry, very important. Thanks for noticing. And of course, I don't know if you saw this part or not, but it is going to be a book cover eventually. And this is the composition of the cover. So there's more type over on this side than on the right. So I hope that I've inspired somebody out there to say, man, I think I should give that charcoal thing a try. I didn't know I could do so many tricks with it. That would be sweet if I've inspired somebody to give it a try. Lot of fun. And it's really fun every once in a while just to work in black and white. Black and white is so underrated in the days of, super computer color printers and color everything. Everything's color. In a world of color, a black and white image really stands out. I mentioned yesterday, it sounds like I'm bragging. I don't think I am at all, but it's on my mind. I'm going to be judging an art show day after tomorrow on Sunday. And I have noticed before when I've judged shows that, I'll be looking at 400 pieces of artwork. I think it's actually between 300 and 400 pieces of artwork. And so it's just a glut of visual stuff, right? Now, I try not to get too carried away with this impulse, but I have noticed that in a wall of thank you, Bobo, in a wall of colored paintings. Thanks, Yoko. Brunsma. I take it you're in the Netherlands somewhere. Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to be inspiration. I was talking about judging an art show, and I have noticed that in a wall of colored paintings, a beautiful black and white image really stands out. So just a little trick to keep in mind. Doesn't mean you're going to win the competition, but I can pretty much guarantee you will get the judge's attention. Black and white photography, same idea, but yeah, black and white photography isn't the same in my opinion. Of course, photography is not the same as illustration anyway, but black and white photography is pretty common, pretty, I'm being harsh here, pretty well known. Black and white illustration, man, that's a rare experience, I think. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to continue this kind of work across the painting and go downstairs, give it another spray, and then continue the broadcast later on this afternoon. Thanks. Excellent. Vinit, I don't know, you probably aren't. I hope you catch this later. Thank you for giving me help with pronouncing your name. I appreciate that. Fantastic. Vinit, thank you for watching. So here's my finished charcoal drawing. Actually, maybe finished it a little more quickly than I'd expected, but it's good enough. It's good enough to get me to the next level, next layer. It turns out I ran out of spray. I did one coat of spray that I talked about earlier. Oh, one other trick I should mention. Sorry, hang on. So while we're, I sort of gave you a real quick crash course of charcoal, and I failed to mention there is also, of course, the white charcoal pencil. Now, it's not ideal. I actually prefer doing all the charcoal drawing without reverting to a pencil. Now those dots are small enough they won't matter. The reason is the color of this pencil is not exactly the same as the color of the paper. Good, can't see it there. It's slightly bluer, slightly whiter than the paper. The paper is slightly yellower, but again, it's pretty subtle. So I'm calling this illustration done. Again, I don't know if those are fireflies or some kind of magic pixie dust in here. Doesn't matter. It looks cool. So I'm calling this illustration finished, at least till I go to the store and buy some more workable fixative. So, but I did want you to see what it looks like with the tape removed around the edge. And I'm wondering if I have over here. I was going to show you some finished charcoal illustrations from years past, and I forgot to go look for them, so I won't waste your time now. I'll try to show. Well, you can see them on my website, dannelsonart.com. Okay, so there you go. I'm calling that done. This then will be, if my client approves of it, this will be the sketch, the rough sketch, quote unquote, for the pen and ink. In the pen and ink illustration, the background will be multicolored but muted color, very sepia tone, brownish, kind of gloomy, and the girl will be more in color, pale blue, like the sketch here, pale blue t-shirt and blue jeans and so on. So I'm really excited about doing that pen and ink job. It's been a long time since I've done a pen and ink job that I can really sink my teeth into, so I'm excited about it. Sorry for the jerking you around. I hope you'll be able to join me for that. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm doing a couple things this weekend. I hope to broadcast as much as I can. First of all, I'm doing a wedding tomorrow night, so I'll, as always, bring you in as much as I can at a wedding. And then on Sunday, new experience, and this should be fun. I'm judging a local art show competition down in Pinehurst, Southern Pines, North Carolina. Very, very, very famous resort area, golf area. And I'll bring you in as much as I think I can get away with on that. So a couple of fun events coming up. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe, leave comments, and share. And I look forward to being with you again real soon.